You know more about physics than Sir Isaac Newton himself. Any second-year psychologist knows more about the human mind than Freud ever did. And every single one of us, including your grandmother, knows more about math than Pythagoras did. That being the case, why do we put so much stock in the wisdom of those who have come before us, and so little in the stock of our fellow man?
Jews, Christians, Buddhists, every religion guessed about 5%, except for Doug Forsett.
Who's Doug Forsett?
Well, Doug was a stoner kid who lived in Calgary during the 1970s. One night he got really high on mushrooms, and his best friend Randy said, "Hey, what do you think happens after we die?" And Doug just launched into this long monologue where he got like 92% correct. I mean, we couldn't believe what we were hearing. That's him, actually, right up there. He's pretty famous around here. I'm very lucky to have that.
The most beautiful philosophy I've heard in my life has not typically been from philosophers. Dan Harmon.
Nobody exists on purpose. Nobody belongs anywhere. Everybody's gonna die.
Matt Stone.
Well, yeah, and I'm sad. But at the same time, I'm really happy that something can make me feel that sad. It's like, it makes me feel alive, you know?
Justin Roiland.
How you doing? Great to meet you. I'm a plumber, sir. I'm a Rick and I'm a plumber. That doesn't sound like Rick work. You didn't come to the Citadel to be a plumber, did you? I sure didn't, sir.
Trey Parker.
Am I real?
Chuck Palahniuk. I'm sorry, Fight Club writer.
Advertising has us chasing cars and clothes, working jobs we hate so we can buy shit we don't need.
Jim Carrey. Tim Minchin. Oh my word, Tim Minchin. Bo Burnham. I know a pretty good amount about math and physics. I know about gender bias and confirmation bias. I know about the placebo effect. I know about the bystander effect. I put all of these things together and I create theories. Theories about the world around me. Because I think critically on the world around me and I use the knowledge that I have. That's what philosophy is. As a matter of fact, I hate doing this. It's such a cop-out for a report of some kind. But Merriam-Webster, definition of philosophy. All learning exclusive of technical precepts and practical arts. The science and liberal arts exclusive of medicine, law, and theology. A doctor of philosophy. Discipline comprising at its core logic, aesthetics, ethics, metaphysics, and epistemology. A search for a general understanding of values and reality by chiefly speculative rather than observational means. A system of philosophical concepts. A theory underlying or regarding a sphere of activity or thought. Now, why did I go through all of those and give you 11 different sub-definitions of the word philosophy? Because of those 11, only one of them was the kind where you go to a university and get a degree. 1.5, because it was like 1B. Have you ever been on Reddit and tried to talk to them about philosophy? It's bad. The elitism practically leaks out of their ears, it's so bad. Philosophy is like seeing, or smelling, or analyzing, or thinking critically, or being empathetic. You don't take classes in it. You just learn how to do it while you're learning other things. The philosophy of blank, all that means is thinking critically about blank. I personally do not think philosophy should be a course. First person I ever heard say that was my buddy Chris, and I'm going to be honest with you, I was getting very philosophical, and I somewhat resented the statement. I quickly shrugged it off as my being insecure about the value of the knowledge. But it wasn't the value of philosophy that Chris was speaking to. It was the fact that you shouldn't teach it exclusively, because whether you like it or not, now this is my theory, whether you like it or not, any course that somebody has paid money for, they're going to get elitist about, at least a little bit, or at least try to show that they know more about it than you. And philosophy is not supposed to be confrontational. Philosophy is supposed to help us to understand the world around us. Why does the wisdom of these long-dead spazzes matter at all? The very nature of philosophical papers is confrontational. That's not philosophy, that's debate. It's part of philosophy, it's good, It should be part of the process of coming to a belief. However, your purpose should not be tearing down somebody's argument simply for the sake of fame and for the sake of being published. And that is what philosophy has become. East is east, and west is west, and never the two shall meet. Do you know how wrong that is? Do you know how that looks to me? It looks like somebody on one side going, physics, and somebody on the other side going, no, biology, and trying to decide which is more important when it comes to understanding the universe. You need both. You need both. We should be bouncing these ideas off of every single human being who will listen, considering every single theory everybody's ever had and trying to come to a conclusion with it, or trying to point out some little holes in the logic that could be worked on and things like that. But we don't do that. Philosophy consists of a number of things. Philosophy is trying to understand the world around us through abstract concepts and epistemology, which is the study of what we know and how we know it, and theories therein. And yet, only one type of knowledge is given any credibility. And that's the kind of knowledge that you get out of a textbook in a university library. Whether you like it or not, only a specific group of people are going to go to university. 1, they have to have had a decent education when they were children. 2, the kinds of people who have enough money to go to university. 3, the kinds of people who have a support network or enough money saved up to support themselves while they're in university. 4, the type of person who considers that knowledge valuable enough to care in the school environment as opposed to the real life environment to go out there and carry on with their education and finish it. 4, people who write in a particularly good way to get published. All of these things, every single philosopher who exists in the Western world today has all of these things and nothing else. Why don't we put more value in the experiences we've lived? Myself, for example, I didn't go to university for anything. I went to college for police foundations. I joined the Navy. I worked in some factories. I did security work. I've seen some really dark stuff on the street that I had to help with. I've experienced malicious intent, like intentional, dark, malicious intent. I've experienced genuinely good things, people being genuinely good people for no real discernible reason. And because of the things that I've experienced, I can take what people tell me and put it out of my head. For example, Christians are all blank. Do you know what I say when people say Christians, they're just blank, they're just judgmental? Are you kidding me? It just so happens that 2 of the kindest people I ever met in my life, 2 of the kindest strangers I ever met in my entire life were Christian. I don't think they had to be Christian to be that kind, but their Christianity helped them get there. They learned those lessons in the church. And because of that, my view has changed. It's things like this that we need more of. We need more people with different worldviews and different experiences to come together and debate amongst each other and discuss and grow and learn. We don't need to ask them where their degree was from. We don't need to try to sound smarter than them. That is the problem with philosophy today. Everybody's just trying to sound smarter than everybody else. Everybody's just trying to be more right than everybody else. And we're not going to get any answers this way. Don't try to sound too smart for people to understand you. That seems like common bloody sense. Philosophers do not write for the world around them. They write for each other. They've created an old boys club. If you're not speaking a quote, an exact quote that has been attributed to somebody who's been dead for longer than you were even a thought in your parents' heads, how are we going to move forward? If the only valuable knowledge is the knowledge that came before, what can we ever truly know? How are we ever going to learn? People are scared of philosophy. It's intimidating. When you fall into the abyss, I made a video about the abyss, links in the description, I don't know how to do all the pting. When you discover a thing like the abyss or purposelessness, or the fact that it's completely unknown whether or not there's anything after death. When you realize these things and it hurts, and you can't shake them, and you start talking to the people around you, what do they say to you? Let it go. Forget about it. Go no further. Think no deeper. Give up. And that is a very valid way to look at things. Accepting the things you cannot change is powerful. And I'm not judging anybody for it. If you don't want to think about this stuff, if it brings you pain, fine, man. Like, great. I hope you find happiness. I really, really do. But if you're out there and you want to think about this stuff and you want to talk about this stuff and you can't stop, you won't stop, like me, then we need to be heard.
Oh, that's awfully nice, Will. You got an awful lot of problems with not very many solutions. What are you on about?
Well, I have a solution. A proposed solution that I'm going to be implementing on this channel. I'm going to start a show. So subscribe if you want to see that. Also, now that I said the S word, I may as well do that whole subscribe thing. So subscribe to me if you like this content. I'm putting out multiple videos a week. I'm really loving this, and subscribing to me is by far the #1 way to support me. I need 100 subscribers for a custom URL and 1,000 to make the partnership program. I'm going to keep making these videos whether I get there or not. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Future will come up with an outro. Yay! I have no idea what I'm going to come up with. Let me know if it was any good.